What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the NBA because yesterday on Thursday, I'm recording this on Friday, the NBA released the starters for the upcoming NBA All-Star game that will be in February next month in Utah. And they released the starters for both the West and the Eastern Conference. So just starting with the West, the captain of the Western team, to nobody's surprise, I assume, is LeBron James because he did receive the most votes out of any player in the Western Conference, the most fan votes, that is. And because he received more votes than any other player in the NBA, he is not only going to be the captain of the West team, or of Team LeBron, I should say, but he will also receive the first pick in the NBA All-Star Draft, which, if you guys do not know, is going to be a little bit different this year. And that is because the two teams, Team LeBron and Team Giannis, are going to be picked right before the game, live on television in front of everyone. So think back to elementary school when you're drafting your teams in recess on the basketball court. It's basically going to be like that. Somebody's going to get picked last in front of everyone. Somebody's going to be the first pick, and people will make judgments on that. They'll have their reactions to the draft. Making the NBA draft or NBA All-Star draft watchable was one of the best things that the NBA did with the All-Star game, in my opinion. And the fact that they're making it live in front of everyone right in the arena so the fans will get to watch it too, all live, I think it's a great idea. And it's entertaining, which is what the NBA All-Star game is supposed to be. So anyway, the rest of the starters in the Western Conference, so you have LeBron in the front court. Then the other two front court players are Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans and Nikola Jokic, back-to-back MVP, center for the Denver Nuggets, looking like he's going to win his third consecutive MVP this season, which every time I say that, it's still so shocking that he's going to be the guy who's going to win 3 MVPs. And not because he doesn't deserve it, I just think it's because it's something that we haven't seen in a very long time. Larry Bird was the last guy to do it, and just the fact that he's probably going to win 3 straight MVPs is pretty remarkable to think about. Whether you like it or not, we all have our opinion about the MVP. And then in the backcourt, you have Steph Curry, Golden State Warriors, reigning defending champs. Not really a surprise there. And then the other backcourt player is Luka Doncic. So I guess I'll start with the backcourt. Some of the controversies and issues that people are having with the starters. A guy that people should have thought should be starting was Oklahoma City guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is having a tremendous season for the Thunder, who are without number 2 overall pick, Chet Holmgren, who lost his entire rookie season to a foot injury. And the Thunder just look like a team that they have a lot of really young talent, and he is just separating himself from the pack in terms of the young guards that are going to be superstars in this league one day. And I'm pretty sure he's still averaging 30 points a game. He has a tremendous game, absolutely has a great feel for the game. And people are saying that he should have been voted a starter. And I think you can make an argument for it because Steph Curry just came back after being out multiple weeks with a shoulder injury. And now Luka Doncic, his all-star status may be in question because he does have an ankle injury that he suffered in their last game recently, I believe. And so maybe SGA gets that starting spot by default because maybe Luka won't be able to play in the all-star game. But that was one of the main things that people had an issue with. And then the other issue that people had with the West All-Star starters was the front court, because there are a lot of people that believe Zion Williamson should not be starting in this game, and it should be Sacramento Kings power forward Domantas Sabonis, who is having an incredible season himself, along with the Kings, who are third in the Western Conference and are looking like they can make a lot of noise in the playoffs. And I think even though a guy like Zion, who has missed a lot of games this year, he's been out the last few weeks, the Pelicans have sort of fallen back in the standings a little bit since he's been out. Before they were up at the top and damn near with the number 1 seed. And I think the reason why he is still a starter, even though he's missed all these games, it has to do with the fact that a lot of this is driven by the fans, because the fans do control 50% of the vote. They get 50% of that vote. I think the players get another 25, and then it's another 25 for the media. So the fans control a lot of the vote, and the fact of the matter is Zion Williamson plays in New Orleans. He's a much more marketable player. Everybody knows who Zion Williamson is, a guy who's, I'm pretty sure, top 10 in jersey sales, spectacular player. Everyone loves watching him, including myself. So I think fans want to see Zion Williamson starting in the All-Star game. If we're talking about West front court, that's who guys want to see. as much as this may be wrong or unfair, fans don't want to see Domantas Sabonis starting in the All-Star game. It's just the reality of the situation. Because at the end of the day, the All-Star game is for the fans, and the fans want to see the best players on the court as much as possible, doing basically anything they want. And with this new format, it's gotten better in terms of guys playing defense, but up until the fourth quarter the last few years, it's really still just been basically a free-for-all open gym kind of game through those first 3 quarters. And fans want to see Zion Williamson on the court and not Domantas Sabonis. And kind of like with Luka Doncic, who knows if he's even going to play. I'm not sure what the status of his injury is, so maybe they do give Sabonis that other starting front court spot. But let me know what you guys think about that. And then when we move over let's move over to the East, and we have Giannis, who received the most votes out of any Eastern player, so he's going to be the captain of the East. He barely passed Kevin Durant in the 3rd cycle of voting, who is currently out with an injury right now. KD was leading the voting majority of the way. So the East starters, you have Giannis, you got KD, and Jason Tatum. Those are the front court players. And then the guards are Kyrie Irving and Donovan Mitchell. And when you look at the front court of the East, the thing that people are saying is, who's missing? Who's the guy that's missing? Joel Embiid is the guy who's missing, because the Sixers are second in the East right now, and Embiid is playing out of his mind. He's having a tremendous season. He's putting up like 33 points per game or something like that. And everyone's saying, how can you not make him how can he not be a starter in the All-Star game? It just doesn't sit right with Philly fans, Joel Embiid fans, and he should be starting in the All-Star game. And I think ultimately when you ask this question, because of the way the rules are, you have to have 2 backcourt players and 3 front court players. And so you can't have 4 front court players and 1 backcourt player, 4 backcourt players, 1 front court. It has to be divvied up like that. And I think when you look at that, it's not right, because there's no way that Joel Embiid should not be starting in this game. And when you look at Giannis, KD, Joel Embiid, and Jason Tatum, all 4 of those guys are having tremendous seasons, and all 4 of them deserve to be starting. Jason Tatum is having a career season. The Celtics are still number 1 in the East. KD, after the Nets had a rough start to the season, he's having his best shooting season basically of his career, and they've sort of risen up in the standings, and they're still a top 4 seed even though he's been out. And when he was healthy and they were on that 12-game win streak or whatever it was, they soared all the way up to the number 2 spot. And then Joel Embiid and James Harden are both leading the Sixers together to the number 2 seed, and Embiid is averaging a career high in points. And I think when you look at that, you can't say that this guy isn't one of the 5 best players in the Eastern Conference right now. It doesn't even make sense. And when you look at Giannis, even though he's not shooting the ball as well this year, he's been without Chris Middleton virtually all season long. Drew Holiday's been in and out of the lineup. Bobby Portis is now injured. The Bucks have not been healthy all season long, and they're still a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. He's still averaging over 30 points per game. So all 4 of those guys deserve to be starting in the All-Star game next month. And I think the way that the NBA is going to have to deal with this is they're going to have to make the All-Star rosters, the All-Star starting 5, positionless. The NBA is essentially already a positionless basketball league, because guys who are 7 feet are bringing the ball up, dribbling between the legs, doing stuff that guards should be doing. And so there aren't really any positions in the NBA anymore, it feels like. So I think that should be reflected in the All-Star starting lineups. It shouldn't be 2 backcourt players, 3 front court players. It feels very limiting to the players who are having tremendous seasons and can't be on the starting lineup because of that rule. And so I think having the starting lineups be positionless will make it more fair for the guys who are having great seasons. It will make it so that a Joel Embiid can start in the All-Star game. And so it will make it that a guy like maybe Sabonis will get a chance to start in the All-Star game. So that's just sort of my thoughts on that. That's what I wanted to talk about in this video, NBA All-Star starting lineups. Comment what you guys think about this. Should Sabonis have gotten the starting nod? Should Embiid have gotten the starting nod? And if you put Joel Embiid in your starting lineup, who would you have taken out in the East? Would you have taken KD out, Giannis, Jason Tatum? Let me know what you guys think about that. And also comment who you think is going to be an All-Star reserve this year on both sides. They haven't announced the reserves yet. Those might come out next week. I'm not particularly sure. Let me know what you guys think about the reserves. And make sure to find all of my content linked in the description. Thank you for watching this video, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And as I said, everything is linked in the description. Thanks for watching this video.